and welcome to the final episode of Nicolas Cage Week here on Podme if you can. The final film, Lloyd, it's Firebirds.
That's correct. With Tommy Lee Jones, Nicolas Cage, and the beautiful Sean Young. The American Army have been informed to help destroy a large drug cartel operating in South America. The drug cartels are armed with the best air combat mercenary money can buy. The mercenary pilots a Scorpion helicopter and has already destroyed American attempts at stopping the cartels. The American Army brings in their best helicopter pilot, aging Brad Little, played by Tommy Lee Jones, who helps train a new generation of pilots led by hotshot Jake Preston, who was played by Nicolas Cage. Top Gun with helicopters. Firebirds is American triumphalism, opening up with a quote from George Bush Sr. that emphasizes America's policy on the war on drugs. It is a big fat showcase of American patriotism, as well as showing off the American military, showing off their technology, training, and of course discipline. The love story, which is basically between Nicolas Cage and Sean Young, is very forced. There are some wonderful late 80s and early 90s photography with very heavy smoky interiors, and it really takes you back. It looks like you're looking at a music video, but the dialogue is really forced and really poor. It's almost of porn quality, the relationship between them. I just found it very unbelievable. Tommy Lee Jones is an aging helicopter pilot who is facing the twilight of his career. He is having trouble coming to terms with with this new pilot who's played by Nicolas Cage, maybe even be better than him. So it culminates in a friendly boxing match between them, which ends up with Tommy Lee Jones being knocked out. And what I like here is it's not only a mental realization, but a physical realization that he has to, this is the end of his career as a pilot, and he has to settle to become a trainer. It is an age-old story of the old lion handing over the torch to the next generation. And, even in a cliched story like this, I still found it to be very intriguing, mainly because of the performance by Tommy Lee Jones. He just has that screen presence, and he's very comfortable playing those military type roles. I love his accent, his dialogue, and everything like that. He does it pretty well. Yep. The villain in this movie, I think, is done really well. You only ever see him in military files, and they only ever talk about him, adding to this sense of omnipotence to the character. What I really like is he's built up to be the best mercenary pilot money can buy, and he chooses to pilot this Scorpion helicopter, which compared to the American Apache helicopter seems less threatening and technologically inferior. The reason why the mercenary has chosen this helicopter is because it's very mobile. It's it can fly all kinds of different directions. It's very versatile, so it comes to an interesting climax. And the climax where you see Nicolas Cage fight the cartels is actually very exciting and really well choreographed. I disagree with a lot of the reviews I've read. In fact, this movie got like 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. I actually think the climactic battle sequence is very exciting. The Nicolas Cage moment of this movie, basically during training, they got like this cockpit of the helicopter with a video screen in front of them, and they have to fight simulated tanks and other helicopters. So picture a big video game, and Nicolas Cage is dominating at it, killing everything, and he's constantly screaming, "I am the greatest."
I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I am the greatest.
Nicolas Cage is annoyingly smug in this film. The best line is spoken by Tommy Lee Jones, which I want to share here because I think it sums up the movie really well. "I joined the army for the same reason you did, and that's to kick ass. Just like in the old war movies, be a hero. That's what I'm looking for in you. First class all-American hero with his heart and brain wired together, cooking full tilt boogie for freedom and justice, okay? It's the oldest and corniest story in the whole world." Firebirds is a straightforward action movie with some really great training sequences, 2 solid performances by the leads, and a really exciting battle sequence at the end. If you can look past the mighty Top Gun, this movie isn't that bad.
Okay, so is there ever a scene where Tommy Lee Jones and Nicolas Cage's characters are going head to head in helicopters, like they're flying at each other. They've got some kind of flight off instead of a boxing match.
Kind of. In the training sequence, Nicolas Cage is having trouble seeing out of his right eye, and it comes, comes together in one of the key training sequences where Tommy Lee Jones is really pushing him. You got to cover up, and he just can't do it. He's sweating all over the place, and Tommy Lee Jones goes, "Yeah, you got to fix that." But it strengthens their relationship, if anything. But yeah, you really see the weakness of Nicolas Cage's character in that scene.
And you'd recommend this Nicolas Cage film?
Yeah, it's not bad. A lot of people hate it, and I think it's because it wants to be Top Gun with helicopters, and it's nothing compared to Top Gun. But I thought it wasn't that bad. It's not bad.
It's less homoerotic than Top Gun?
Yeah, less homoerotic, definitely.
And last question, is there like a big song like Highway to the Danger Zone?
There is a Phil Collins song, which I'm struggling to find out the name, but yeah, that's one of the key songs that it plays at the very end. It's actually got a pretty cool soundtrack.
Nice. All right. Well, guys, Pod Me If You Can for this week was all about Nicolas Cage, but you can let us know what your favorite Nicolas Cage films were at our Facebook page, facebook.com/podmeifyoucan, and you can find links to all of the YouTube videos you've watched and many more at www.podmeifyoucan.com.